All right, let's get to what took place in New York. There were primaries in about 5 states around the country. Scotty B won in his primary in New Hampshire.
Oh,
Was
I'm
it New?
sorry. I apologize. What I just do? Oh, I just won a frickin' primary, brah.
There you go. Now, what does he do? Is he move to Vermont and run for the primary there? Dude, I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit every state in New England.
I'm still running. I don't know why you assume. And secondly, Vermont. I mean, come on, dude. That's like last resort.
Dude, I'm gonna head down to Rhode Island. I'm not even gonna run for the Senate. I'm just gonna run for the primary so I can say that I did it in 5 states in New England.
I won primaries in all 5 New England states. I'm gonna crush a friggin'.
I haven't been on a tour like this since I saw Hootie and the Blowfish. All right. So, of course, big primary in New York State. In New York State yesterday. Andrew Cuomo and Kathy Hochul running on the ballot against Zephyr Teachout. Well, for governor, it was Zephyr Teachout and Randy Credico. And Hochul was running against Tim Wu. The amount of people who voted in this primary was extraordinarily low. The last real contested Democratic primary, I think, was Spitzer's in 2006. And I literally think there was a couple 100,000 more voters, 20% larger turnout than in this one. There was about 500,000 votes cast, maybe 550,000 cast in this primary. It's an extraordinary small amount. Was that 7% of the population of the?
I think it was 10. I'm still
10.
Looking, but I've heard 10.
Andrew Cuomo, as of 11 a.m. this morning, got 62% of the vote. Teachout got 34% plus. Randy Credico got about 4% of the vote. Understand that these numbers may not sound terribly impressive to you. I can tell you that in the New York political press and in the national political press, people are shocked. Shocked. Because the sheer name recognition value in and of itself should have meant that Teachout could have maybe gotten 20%. I think Credico was always going to get about 3 to 4%. The dollar amount, also shocking disparity as well. In the corridor of Amtrak going from New York City to Albany, I think Teachout and Wu won all of those counties. They won in Manhattan. They won 78% in Columbia County, where I'm registered to vote. And that is basically because there was no other vote on the ballot. It was just the primary for the governorship. There was no other primaries in at least in Hudson, New York. And Matt Stoller has a good piece on the 5 reasons why Cuomo won. They're worth going through. And again, you know, for me, ultimately, this was not about Cuomo. I mean, I should say it was not about rating Zephyr Teachout as a candidate. For me, it was always about voting against Cuomo. And I don't know if Zephyr Teachout was the best protest candidate, but she was the most prominent one. So here's what Stoller wrote. Cuomo won because he spent more than $11 million on TV alone, while Zephyr Teachout spent $500,000 on the whole campaign.
Wow.
She didn't do one piece of mail, not a single TV ad. Cuomo paid roughly $48 for every vote he got. Zephyr Teachout paid roughly $2.70. You know, Cuomo was so pissed that he didn't even give a victory speech. Kathy Hochul gave some type of interview, and that was basically it. Cuomo's pissed. He was embarrassed. I don't know that Cuomo had any legitimate national aspirations, but to the extent that anybody else subscribed to his legitimate national aspirations, we have just been spared all the talk in the media. Let's put it that way. The liberal establishment went for Cuomo. You'll recall that the WFP endorsed Cuomo. I think they did so fairly reluctantly. They made a deal with Cuomo, ostensibly that will give the Democrats ostensibly control of the Senate in New York. Remains to be seen if Cuomo will screw them over on that deal. But that was the deal that they made. Many of the unions that support the WFP wanted to endorse Cuomo because they have a very transactional relationship with Cuomo. And over the past year, he's tried to build some bridges or mend some bridges with them. Hillary Clinton did a robocall for Cuomo, which was interesting insofar as she did very little else for any other candidates in 2014 at this point. Kirsten Gillibrand, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Emily's List endorsed the Cuomo-Hochul ticket. Bill De Blasio, I think he did some robocalls for Cuomo.
Where's Bill De Blasio?
Oh.
And also showed up just in time for Cuomo to pretend like he didn't see Zephyr Teachout.
Didn't De Blasio, though, look a little thrown off by that?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He was like, dude, like,
why are
what
you so excited
doing?
to see me?
Like, you didn't have a reaction like this when I was trying to get kids pre-K.
Right.
I'll tell you that much, buddy.
Where's the mayor?
All right, here's number 3 by Matt Stoller. He calls Zephyr's base the Occupy voter bloc. Some in Occupy may take issue with that, but that's the way that he named it. It's not a complete coalition, but it's piece of a broader coalition. And it's basically, I think, in Stoller's description, sort of white liberals from ages 30 to 45 years, which he considers to be the Occupy Wall Street demographic. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's the way he characterizes it. He says Cuomo will be governor, but his career is over. Cuomo will win in November. He will govern for another 4 years or until he is indicted because he's proved himself a very good machine boss, but a very bad candidate. I think that's very accurate. And I think I think what this campaign has done, at least in terms of Cuomo's career, is it's exposed him as being a guy who is just that. A very good machine boss, but a very piss-poor candidate, making very stupid decisions along the way, including contesting Teachout's residency and her signatures and pretending she wasn't in the race. He's a bad candidate. Number 5, New York establishment hates and fears Cuomo. This basically is tied into his machine quality. I mean, when there was talk about the WFP challenging Cuomo in the general election, I had talked to various leaders around, from who are involved in activism, but also in providing services. And the one thing that shocked me was many of them were saying it can't get worse than Cuomo. Like, even if it meant he lost an election, he has so damaged us that it can't get worse than him. He is so vindictive.
Wow.
And I was shocked by that. Stoller contends that Cuomo's control of the party is in question. His ability to govern will be dramatically weakened. He will be governor, but no longer king. I'm not sure. Cuomo is incredibly vindictive. There's also no term limits in New York. Now, he may not want to be governor for 4 terms, but he might, just to say that he's better than his dad. Stoller goes on to talk about Zephyr Teachout's career just beginning. In some respects, I think this may be the case. I don't know. Then, judge her candidacy in other elections based upon not who she's running against, but what she'll bring to the candidacy. He goes on to say this is a real debate of ideas. My only concern is that Cuomo's corruption became such a big part of this election because he's so corrupt that some of the other issues took a back seat to the narrative of Cuomo governing like a Republican on economic issues. Stoller goes on to say that he thinks that antitrust is an extremely potent issue. I'm not so sure about that, but it may be the case that people are excited about it. And he goes on, number 5, De Blasio is running for the governorship and then the presidency. He's not a throwback Democrat. He's a slightly more left-wing version of Bill Clinton or Barack Obama.
I don't know if he quite has that charisma level.
But it's true. He may not have that level of charisma. But that's probably where his politics are.
He's liberal. I think that's true. He's not left. He's not radical. He's probably more genuinely liberal than, like Stoller's saying, than either of those two guys.
I don't know. I think that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
I think that remains to be seen. But I think it's a fair assessment of where De Blasio is at this point. And he's no Bloomberg. All right, I want to talk briefly.
Well, you got that right.